Today, we're digging into a revolution that's totally changing how we build our world. And it's not just about some new gadgets. We're talking about a massive shift called Construction 4.0. Now, if you're studying to be a quantity surveyor, listen up, because this isn't just a side topic. It's the new reality you'll be working in. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at the old school problems that made this whole revolution necessary. Then, we'll get into what Construction 4.0 actually is, check out its digital and physical sides, see the real-world impact it's having, and finally, we'll peek into a future where people and machines work together like never before. All right, let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we gotta understand the why. Why did an industry that's literally been around since the dawn of civilization need such a massive wake-up call? It's a pretty strange situation when you think about it, right? Construction builds the very foundation of our economy, yet for ages, it's had this reputation for being inefficient. It's been a real head-scratcher for a long, long time. And look, these aren't new headaches. For decades, the construction world has been wrestling with poor productivity, dangerous job sites, and just so much waste. For you, as quantity surveyors, that constant battle with projects going over budget and past deadlines, well, that's your everyday reality. Throw in a serious shortage of skilled workers, and you've got the perfect storm, a set of problems just begging for a tech-driven answer. And that answer, that solution, has a name: Construction 4.0. This is basically the fourth industrial revolution, but custom-built for our built environment. So what does that actually mean in plain English? Well, at its heart, Construction 4.0 is all about linking up cyber-physical systems. That's just a fancy way of saying we're building a smart, unbreakable bridge between the digital world of plans and data and the physical world of steel, concrete, and people on the job site. You can think of Construction 4.0 as standing on two huge pillars. On one side, you've got digitalization. That's the brain. It's all about data, being connected, and having one central playbook that everyone can access. On the other side, you've got industrialization, and that's the muscle. This is where we automate the physical work with things like robots and 3D printing to build better, faster, and with way less waste. Let's start with the digital brain of the whole operation. We're kicking off with the digital blueprint because honestly, this is where every modern construction project is really born. The bedrock of Construction 4.0 is data. And right at the center of this data explosion is building information modeling, or BIM. Now, this is so much more than a 3D model. It's a living, breathing digital copy of the project, absolutely jam-packed with information. For a quantity surveyor, BIM is your new best friend. It becomes the single source of truth, where every design decision is instantly linked to cost, making your estimates more accurate and agile than ever. But BIM is really just the launch pad. The next giant leap is something called the digital twin, and this is where things get really cool. A digital twin takes that static BIM model and brings it to life by plugging it into the real world with sensors, what we call the Internet of Things, or IoT. All of a sudden, your model isn't just a plan anymore. It's a live, real-time virtual copy of the actual job site, letting you watch progress, test out changes, and even predict when a machine needs fixing before it breaks. And the digital twin isn't working alone. It's backed up by a whole ecosystem of tech. You've got cloud computing that lets your team work together from anywhere. Big data and AI are crunching the numbers to spot problems before they even happen. And those IoT sensors are the eyes and ears on the ground, feeding back that constant stream of data. And notice something else? Every single one of these technologies also pushes us toward a much more sustainable way of building. All right, so we've covered the digital brain. Now let's talk about the automated muscle. This is where you can physically see technology changing how things get built. The job site of today is starting to look a little different. We're talking about autonomous robots hauling materials around, robotic arms that can weld or paint for hours with perfect accuracy, and drones flying overhead giving us a bird's-eye view for safety checks and progress reports. We're even seeing robots that can 3D print entire houses and remote-controlled bots that make demolition way, way safer. Let's just pause on 3D printing for a second. By putting material only where it's needed, it can cut construction waste by up to 60%. That is a staggering number. For a quantity surveyor, that's not just great for the planet. It's a massive saving on material costs and a huge boost to your project's bottom line. And automation isn't just about robots taking over jobs. It's also about making our human crews smarter and more efficient.
With an augmented reality headset, a worker can literally look at a wall and see the digital plumbing and electrical plans overlaid on top of it. They can instantly see if a pipe is going to clash with an air duct, preventing a huge, expensive mistake down the road. Okay, so we've seen all this cool tech, but what's the actual tangible impact? Does this revolution really solve those old problems we started with?
Let's take just one example, keeping the equipment running. By using AI to listen to the data coming from sensors on, say, an excavator, we can predict when it's going to break down before it happens. And the result? A potential 30% drop in maintenance costs, and, this is the big one, a 70% drop in downtime. That means fewer delays and a schedule you can actually count on.
This quote from the research just nails it perfectly. This isn't a small step up. It's the combination of live data, automation, and smart analysis that is truly creating a new modern age for construction. Which, of course, brings us to the future. With all of these robots and all this AI, what's the role of the actual human professional in this new world? Well, the conversation is already shifting from Construction 4.0 to what some are calling Construction 5.0, and the whole focus here is on people. The idea is not to replace the incredible skill and judgment of a quantity surveyor. The goal is to augment your abilities with ridiculously powerful tools, creating a partnership between people and machines. Of course, this brave new world comes with a whole new set of challenges. When your entire job site is one big connected network, cybersecurity suddenly becomes a top priority. We have to worry about data privacy, and we have to tackle the skills gap with constant training. We even have to rethink security for people with new ideas like continuous vetting, where access to project data is monitored all the time, treating human access with the same zero-trust approach we use for devices. So, after all that, where does this leave us? Well, this revolution isn't coming. It's already here, and it's changing what it means to be a professional in this industry. The question is no longer if technology is going to transform construction. The real question is, how will you, as the next generation of quantity surveyors, master these tools? How are you going to use them to finally beat those age-old problems of cost, time, and waste, and build a future that's more efficient, more sustainable, and way more innovative? That's the challenge, and the incredible opportunity that's right in front of you.